right, so March 22nd, 9:47 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Adrian did it? That's what it looks like. Dude, no way. That woman couldn't do anything like that. In court today, there will be a mountain of evidence that will implicate you. A mountain of evidence? I'm certain there is someone out there trying very hard to pin this whole thing on you. Man, Mr. Lawyer! Dude, like I said yesterday, I'm, refreshing like a spring breeze, alright? I can't let this sort of scandal ruin that. Listen, I understand. Well, it's almost time. Oh, it's Mia. We must get a complete acquittal today. I know. I can't focus on Maya's situation right now, or Pearl's either. No matter what, I have to focus on winning this case by the end of the day. Indeed. Well, let's get going. Oh shit. It's the kidnapper. It's him. This is Wright.
Good morning. This is it, Mr. Attorney. The day of the trial.
Maya, she's unharmed, right?
Well, when I checked on her earlier this morning, she seemed a bit, how shall we say, tired? Don't worry, people don't die that easily. Besides, what you really should be concentrating on is winning today's trial. For myself, you must win today's trial, which is why I sent you a little present this morning.
Present? What in the world would you want to give me?
You'll figure it out once the trial opens. Even if you don't like my gift. I expect you to graciously accept it and win the day's contest, if you please.
Wait! Beep. The kidnapper sent me a present? Mr. Lawyer, dude? Who's that? No one. It has nothing to do with you, so forget you heard anything. Dude, did your nose just, like, get longer, Pinocchio? March 22nd, 10 a.m., District Court, courtroom number 3. Where's the prosecutor?
Court is now in session for the trial of Matt Ungard. Are the prosecution and the defense ready?
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
I say, Mr. Wright, what happened to Miss Von Karma?
I don't know, Your Honor. Why are you getting mad at me? Your Honor!
Please be quiet, bailiff. Court is in session. If you must tell me something, please keep it brief. Now then, what is it?
Prosecutor Von Karma has... This morning, Miss Von Karma was shot? By an unknown gunman. What, dude?
Not me.
Shot? Somehow, I think this is the present that man was talking about. This present? Miss Von Karma is one of the top prosecutors in the country at the moment. If she disappeared, well, this would be to your advantage. This is totally insane! Miss Von Karma, is she alright?
I don't have that answer.
She's alive and in stable condition. That's good.
Whew. Wait a minute, you're...
I thought he'd show up. Your Honor, due to the circumstances, Miss Franziska von Karma cannot appear in court today. I, Miles Edgeworth, will be taking her place. The prosecution is ready, naturally. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Miss Von Karma was shot in her right shoulder and is currently undergoing surgery. Luckily, I have looked this case over and am familiar with the details. The prosecution seeks to prove the guilt of Mr. Matt Ungard.
The court acknowledges the prosecution.
Right. I finally found the answer I was struggling for on my own long journey this past year. By the time this case comes to an end, you too will know the answer. Now then, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. Please bring Detective Gumshoe to the witness stand. Witness, your name and occupation. My name's Dick Gumshoe, sir. I'm a detective down at the precinct. Well, for now.
For now?
After this trial's over, I'm supposed to turn in my badge, sir. Detective Gumshoe? The prosecution has no need for a depressed witness. Lift your head and face forward like a proud officer, Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Now, let's have your testimony. If we want to explore the various facets of this case, we must start with that. Get ready, Phoenix. This is going to be one very rough fight. Yeah. It'll have to be with Edgeworth as my opponent. The answer he was struggling for. Interesting. Show me this answer you finally found, Edgeworth. Bare facts of the case. All right. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, well, we believe that he was definitely murdered, sir. At first, we thought that there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. However, we later found out that the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. How do you know that? Where's your evidence for that claim?
After the award ceremony ended, the victim was alone in his room?
Yes, sir. Both the victim and the defendant went alone to their rooms, sir.
I see. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
All right. I'm loving that we get to show off with Edgeworth again. I missed Edgeworth. This murder happened after the Hero of Heroes Award ceremony, sir. The victim, Juan Carita, was found dead in his hotel room. After looking into the cause of death, we believe he was definitely murdered, sir. All right, this will give us some information. The cause of death, wasn't that because Mr. Carita was stabbed in the chest? Only a careless amateur would believe something so brainless as that, pal. Take a good hard look at the crime photo. Now, a real pro's attention will be drawn here to this bandana.
Banana?
His bandana, sir. That thing wrapped tightly around his neck?
Ah, yes, I see. His banana-scented bandana.
Then what about the knife? Well, it seems to be sucked in the victim's chest on purpose after his death. We have a crafty murderer on our hands here. All right, let's get that autopsy report to look over. At first, we thought there was something suspicious about the empty guitar case. Time of death, 8:15 p.m. Cause, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Strangled with the scarf to start. That's news. That's new to us. Okay. Let's get some more info on this. And why did you think that? Because it was empty, pal. The Jammin' Ninja don't go anywhere without his bright red guitar. And we couldn't find it anywhere at the scene of the crime.
Oh, then how about this theory? A fan really wanted the guitar and did the crime to get it. How's that?
We thought of that too, but the only fingerprints on the guitar case were the victims. Only the victims, huh?
I see. So much for my theory then.
Gloves are a thing, guys. Gloves exist. However, we later found out the guitar case had nothing to do with the murder. Don't believe it. What convinced you it had nothing to do with the case? The guitar wasn't at the Gatewater Hotel that night.
Well then, where was it?
The bright red guitar was eventually found at the TV studio. The victim, Juan Carita, had apparently only taken the case with him, sir.
So you mean he forgot to put his guitar inside the case?
Yep. Even when he was on stage for the ceremony, he didn't have his guitar. So the guitar case was empty before he even got to the hotel. Yeah, that's right. It really had nothing to do with the case after all. I believe that is enough. First, the victim was choked to death with his bandana. Then, after the victim was dead, the killer deliberately stabbed him with a knife. Which brings me to my next point. Why then the police arrest Matt Ungard? Because there was reason enough to suspect him. Here it comes. Looks like Edgeworth's back in full swing.
Very well. Detective Gumshoe, please testify about this matter.
Yes, sir. No, this is case 4, Maki. There's only 4 cases in the second game as far as I believe, or as far as I know. Okay, why arrest Ungard? Matt Ungard and Juan Carita were huge rivals with each other. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's butt. It was ripped off on the ninja's costume was found in Matt Ungard's Hakama. The defendant's fingerprints were also all over the knife. The defendant brought the knife for the crime. The defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. I don't think so, bub.
So the defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife used in the stabbing.
It was sort of sticky on a handle, so the fingerprints came out pretty clearly, sir. Knife added to the court record. This is the same knife that was missing from his room on the table that we investigated yesterday. This knife was taken and lunged into the chest after the strangling, not because it was a premeditated murder on Matt Unguard's part, because someone was trying to frame him. They then took that button and put it in his suit, it looks like. And then there's this button.
That was found in the defendant's clothes, was it? And this button is also covered in blood?
Yeah, we know that the blood is on it is the victim's blood, sir. What? Nani? The Jammin' Ninjas button added to the court record.
All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Hold on, I want to investigate our new evidence. Jammin' Ninja's button was ripped from his costume. It's covered in Kurita's blood found in Unguard's hakama. Bears the victim's blood and Unguard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved. Okay, so we know that it was the one they used for dinner that day. We know that for a fact. Well, we don't know it for a fact, but we're pretty certain.
All of this points very clearly to the defendant, doesn't it?
Yes, it most certainly does, Your Honor. Ready to give in yet, right? I'll find the hole in your argument somehow. You can press as hard as you like, just hurry up with your usual pointless questions. I've never lost to you, okay? Don't act like I'm inferior to you as a lawyer, Edgeworth. Why arrest Unguard? Alright. Matt Unguard and Juan Kurita were huge rivals with each other. That's fine. They each thought the other guy was in his way. That's motive enough in my book. We'll see. Wait just 1 second here. Mr. Unguard was beating Mr. Kurita in the popularity polls. Well, yeah, I guess, but... Which means that in the defendant's eyes, the victim was not a rival at all. Which means he had no motive to kill at all.
Yes, I quite agree. Well, detective? It does sound a little robotic.
Let me see if I can...
Let me see if I can get that a little... Oh, that's scary.
Let me see if I can get that a little deeper.
Like this. Hello, I'm a judge. Yeah, that's a little better. All right. Well, detective?
It's not, well... I guess if you put it that way, then yeah, the defendant would have had no motive. Detective, I'm beginning to see why you were fired. Huh? No, not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Sir, that's... I look forward to your pension negotiations. No!
Now, detective, let's continue with the testimony.
My poor pension, too. Detective, if you value your money, I suggest you proceed. Yes, sir. We can talk about my pension later, sir. Oh, what about what I was saying? Hello, anyone? As for evidence, there's the Jammin' Ninja's button. Do you have any proof that this button belonged to the victim? Huh? I don't get you, pal. Oh, let me put it in this way. I'm asking you if you have any evidence to back up your claim that this button was ripped off the Jammin' Ninja's costume. Huh? But can't you tell just by looking at it? And the victim's blood is on it. Anyone could have smeared that blood on there afterward. Mr. Edgeworth, help me, sir. All right, I knew it had to be this piece of evidence. Now to reel this one in. Thread. Huh? The button was attached to the costume by a thread, obviously. And that thread snapped when the button was torn off. If you match up the ends on the thread to the costume with the threads on the button, it's a perfect match. Yeah, that's it. They're a perfect match, pal. Ugh. That's Edgeworth for you. Never misses a beat. It was ripped off the ninja's costume and was found in Mr. Unguard's hakama. When was this button found? Pretty soon after the body was found. We rounded up everyone who knew Mr. Kurita. And then we did a search on all of them. That's when we found the button.
So it was almost immediately after the murder.
The police didn't have the free time to lollygag and play tricks, unlike some people. Hey, what's he trying to say about me here? The defendant's fingerprints were also all over that knife. How were the fingerprints arranged on the knife? Huh? What do you mean, pal? By examining the fingerprints, you can determine how the defendant held the knife. For example, did he hold it normally or overhand? Oh, is that what you meant? Well, we didn't actually think of that. I can't believe the bumbling of this department. Hopeless. Were you paying attention to the testimony, right? The defendant's fingerprints were all over the knife. There's no way to determine how the knife was held at the moment of the murder.
So the defendant is the owner of the knife then?
Nuh-uh. The defendant brought the knife to the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. Nuh-uh. I can press here, but I could also present the knife because it has Gatewater engraved on the knife. There's no way this is a premeditated murder, even if you brought the knife. Sorry, pal. This isn't just some pocket knife. It's not really useful for anything, and you can't just walk around with it either. Ugh. Well, this is not good. The prosecution can prove it was a premeditated murder. We're done for. Phoenix. Yeah? There's something very interesting about what the detective said just now. Think carefully before it's too late. A button covered in the victim's blood and a knife with Unguard's fingerprints. Be grateful. If the judge were more rash, he would have already pounded his gavel in closing. We're still in a world of trouble. Before any battle, you must find your enemy's weakness. So, let's find the weakness in this testimony, no matter how small it may be, okay, Phoenix? Alright, so we know where to present, I think. Defendant brought the knife for the crime, which makes this a premeditated murder. But we have right in the information of the knife right here that it has Gatewater engraved, and it was at the Gatewater Hotel. Objection! Objection! Wait a second! What? Nani? So this basis of your argument was that this is a premeditated... So the basis of your argument that this was a premeditated murder is simply that my client brought a knife beforehand? That's right, pal. The defendant did not buy this knife. Huh? Take a good look in the handle of this knife, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Huh?
It has Gatewater seal set into the handle.
Gatewater? I think I heard that name somewhere before. That's the name of the hotel. The Gatewater Hotel. Huh. Uh-oh. The murder knife was actually the property of the hotel, which means this murder was not premeditated.
Yes, that is very true. This is a very big... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'm sorry, but the defense is simply too careless. Nani? I think whether the crime was premeditated or not has already been determined. How so? I admit this knife is hotel property. There is no one currently on the police force that is dumb enough to not realize that. But I didn't. Oh. The question is, where did the knife come from?
What? Why, that's obvious. It came from the victim, Mr. Kurita's room.
Sorry, Your Honor, but that is incorrect. The victim ate a last meal before he was murdered. With that being the case, I would like to draw the court's attention to what is on top of the table. There is a knife.
There's a knife and a fork on that table. Then, where in the world did this knife come from?
If it pleases the court, I would like for us to recall the room of the defendant, Mr. Matt Ungard. Especially what was on top of his table. There is something missing. Perhaps it is a single knife? We investigated the leftover dishes for fingerprints, and while we were investigating, we came to the conclusion that Mr. Matt Ungard's knife was missing. Mr. Ungard had gone to the victim's room with the knife he had used during dinner. Now, why would he carry a knife on a visit? To kill, of course. And with that, I believe the prosecution has proven that this was a premeditated murder.
Amazing, Mr. Edgeworth. Absolutely brilliant. A brilliantly clear deduction.
Seems like Edgeworth had this plan from the very beginning. This must be one of those traps, and I just walked headlong into it.
A murder weapon with fingerprints and a button from the victim's costume. There's quite a sizable amount of evidence here.
I can safely say that any further deliberation is a waste of your Honor's time. Although, I wouldn't mind if the defense were to present evidence not yet shown to the court. Evidence not yet shown? He means evidence that the court hasn't seen yet. In other words, new evidence.
What does the defense have to say about this, Mr. Wright?
Well, Phoenix, the judge is favoring the prosecution right now. If we answer with something wrong here, that gavel of his will be ringing out the sound of the defeat.
Mr. Wright, do you have something important and necessary to present to the court?
We gotta ponder this a little bit, guys. We gotta ponder this a little bit. I don't really know. We're in a tough spot here. We're in a tough spot. Let's think this through together, chat. Let's think this through together. We never got the camera back, so it can't. I don't think the camera is evidence we can present. I don't think. Hold on. This isn't evidence that will. I mean, this just implicates. Superstar in an ultra-hot, mega-secret love scandal. Reliable sources say that Juan Carita has been getting close with the mysterious yet beautiful manager to the stars, Miss AA. This is something. This is something, but I don't know. This press conference ticket wouldn't be it. Why is Mia alive? She's not alive. She's being spirit channeled. A picture of the Nickel Samurai won't be it. The hotel guide map won't be it. The button and the knife were presented just now. Okay, we do have one thing. Notice in this picture, everything, we still have the fact that everything on the counter and the floor is broken. But this wine glass filled with tomato juice and this tomato juice bottle filled to the brim are still present. That's like the only thing I really have going for me. This wine glass found next to the victim filled with tomato juice, no sign it's been drank at all. It would definitely be broken if all the other stuff was broken on that table. The suicide report for found by Juan Carita was her suicide note hidden. This also seems really likely. Can you miss evidence? I don't know. But the really suspect thing for me here, guys, is the autopsy report. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Why was the knife necessary at that point, you know? The knife was clearly just used to make it look like it was on guard. That's the only reason the knife was used. The murdering was done by the strangling. The knife was just the cherry on the top. The guitar case, there's some water on it, but only on top of the lid, bears Carita's fingerprints. The fact that there's only water on top of the lid also implies that when things were spilled, there was still a guitar in the case, and then it was opened up and the guitar was taken out. The knife was used to frame your claim. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, so at this point, we either present the suicide report or the wine glass. Do you have something important and necessary to present to the court? I could also just say I don't. I could say not right now. But I feel like I have to say something because I'm totally losing this trial right now. Okay, we're going in. There's one piece of evidence that catches my attention. Something that this court has yet to see.
Mr. Wright, I will say this one more time. I do not feel this trial needs to be continued at all. However, giving you a chance, and only one.
What the judge is saying, right, is don't try pulling one of your usual bluffs here. If I mess this up, it's curtains for all of us.
You may now present one, and only one, piece of evidence. Now then, what is this important evidence that you must show the court? Wow, this is
our only chance? Oh god, chat, I don't know. This one's a bit, this one we have to like, The reason I'm kind of leaning away from the suicide report is because the suicide report, we have to first establish, the relationship with Adrian Andrews and then the mentorship with Celeste Impacts and the management and all that stuff. And none of that has been presented to the court yet. This hasn't been brought up in court, and this is definitely suspicious. I said it, the detective said it. It's been brought to everyone's attention. We're doing the wine glass. I'm going in. Balls to the wall. Let's go.
This is a wine glass. Is it not?
Please look at the photo of the crime scene one more time. The scene is a mess because of the victim's struggle against his assailant. The vase was broken, his makeup is all over the floor. Those were all things that were at one point sitting on top of that dresser.
Well, yes, I see your point.
However, this glass is sitting on top of the dresser is mysteriously untouched, and the only thing that had not fallen over along with everything else is this wine glass. This piece of evidence is more than strange enough to warrant further consideration. Well, what do you all have to say?
Oh, well, yeah, it is a little peculiar.
Yeah, isn't it? I thought it was.
Stop looking at me with those puppy dog eyes of yours now. Mr. Edgeworth?
What is it, Your Honor?
Your opinion, please.
You don't need my opinion because there is no special meaning to that glass. What? It's safe to say that the glass was set there after the crime took place. By the person who discovered the body, Adrian Andrews, for example. She could have easily been so shocked that she set the glass down without thinking.
That does sound very plausible, Mr. Wright.
Could Miss Andrews really have set that glass down without thinking? I can't remember from yesterday. I feel like they're... Okay, hold on. The reason I think it's not her, that there's no way it's her, is because of this. Hold on. Nothing here, nothing specifically there. But because of this, filled with tomato juice. I think it's pretty unlikely that she was walking around with a wine glass of tomato juice. He's the only dude who's weird enough to want to drink tomato juice in such high quantities. Everyone else has gone on the record talking about how weird that is. There's no way. There's no way. If I appear weak here, the trial is over. I can look for my proof later. For now, I should trust my instinct and point with certainty. You just might fall for it if you're thought-provoking. The defense would like to challenge the prosecution's theory. We would like to see something that proves that it was Miss Andrews who set the cup on the table.
You've turned the situation on its head. Yet again, as usual. Mr. Edgeworth, do you have any proof to back up your claim?
There's no way he has any. He's just bluffing. Unlike Mr. Wright, I never say anything unless I have the evidence to support it. Nani? You're not thinking hard enough today, right? Did you think this wine glass escaped my notice? Then, of course it had been thoroughly inspected. For fingerprints. Fingerprints? There were only one set of fingerprints left on this wine glass.
Only one? Well, whose were they?
They were not the victims, nor the defendants. Rather, they were of one Adrian Andrews. Shit. Nani? Wine glass updated in the court record. Damn it. This is why I said that the person who had discovered the body had left it there. Found next to the victim, it's filled with tomato juice. Bears Andrews' fingerprints. Okay, we got more info now. Are we done here, Mr. Wright? Oh, I can't believe I fell into another trap. Miss Andrews was probably holding the glass when she went to see Mr. Corrida. But upon seeing his dead body, she was stunned and set the glass down on the dresser.
What you just said makes a lot of sense.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Now do you see, right? You can't change any part of my scenario as it explains everything all too well. I've thought long and hard this past year about what it means to be a prosecutor. And from here on out, I will show you the answer I have come to discover.
Wait a second, Mr. Edgeworth, I think the prosecution has provided enough evidence for me to enter my verdict.
Unfortunately, I cannot allow you to pass judgment yet. The prosecution has yet another witness we would like the court to hear from. Another witness? Yes. Bailiff! Please bring in the next witness. What in the world is Mr. Edgeworth thinking? I think I get New Edgeworth. I think I understand. This is cool. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. Witness, your name and occupation. Ugh!
Heh. Gotcha!
I wonder what happened to that calm composure he had earlier.
Oh, Edgy boy. It's been, what, a year since we last met, hasn't it? You should be more happy to see me.
I saw the report with her testimony, but who knew that under that helmet, it was that wicked witch of the witness stand?
I tell you, this time I know what I'm supposed to do, so today I'm going to tell you any and everything. Even things that don't have to do with that terrible crime.
This witness, that terrible crime is all this court needs to know. Oof!
Shush, I'm talking to my dear Edgy Wedgy right now. Don't interrupt us, Gramps.
Yes, madam.
No, please. Oh, by all means, interrupt her, please. Ahem. Anyway, witness your testimony, please.
It's true what they say that the youth are hard-headed nowadays. Not that I mind at all, Edgy. Now then, where should I start with?
The witness was on security detail at the hotel on the night of the murder. Is that correct, Miss Oldbag?
Oh, it was a great job being able to see my dear Juan. It was almost too much for my little heart to handle.
You mean, you were a fan of the victim?
Look, everyone is crazy over that on guard, saying he's cute in a fresh way or something, but not me. I wouldn't say anything so silly. After all, I have no interest in a little child like him.
Hold on 1 second. Juan Carita is 21. And this guy's also 21. They're the same age. What's up, old man? Voice acting. No, playing the lawyer game by wearing a tie. Thanks. Good. After a long, hard day of stream, rest those achy bones. Alright.
I'm only interested in a real man, Juan Corrida.
But those two are the same age.
Anyway, as I was saying, I was pacing in front of his room that night.
Very well. Please tell the court what you witnessed the night of the murder.
Leave it to me, Edgy Poo.
What you witnessed.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of old poor Juan's room. It was on guard. Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
So Mr. Unguard came out from the victim's room.
See, it has to be him. He's the murderer.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, may begin your cross-examination.
What you witnessed.
Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. There was something I was interested in finding out, you know. Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time. That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room. It was Unguard. Matt Unguard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
She may not remember things or be mistaken here. She may not remember things or be mistaken here and there, but I don't think she's lying. That's bad for us, really bad. But that's how the human mind is. It also has the tendency to jump off topic. She's strayed onto a few interesting side topics this time too, hasn't she? But that's what makes her a sweet old lady, right? It's because you're not the one who has to question her. Okay, so let's start pressing. Anyway, after the ceremony, I went to pace around in the hallway in front of his room. Let's press. Miss Oldbag, what was your post on that night?
The lobby. I was supposed to help set up the stage for that trifling show, but I refused to help. I'll have you know it was for that lead-headed samurai show. Even I took out a few of the nails.
Maybe it was a good thing the show didn't go on.
Besides, that manager with the glasses had seemed to be working hard at it without me, so I thought I'd take a break and spread my wings a little.
And that's when you went to hang around the victim's door?
There was something I was interested in finding out, you know.
Tell me about it. What is it? Something you were interested in? And just what was that?
It's not some little thing I can just go around telling everyone, you know. It's top secret. Between myself and Juan.
Oh,
And Edgy, of course.
Mr. Edgeworth, what is this thing she was interested in?
I have no idea. I despise gossip, Your Honor. Gossip? If this has something to do with the case, then you can append it to your testimony. Looks like we shouldn't force it right now.
And did the witness stay in the vicinity of the victim's door the entire time?
Okay, so the thing she wanted to find out, the gossip she wanted to find out, she wanted to confirm if the clippings from this article were correct or not. This superstar in an ultra-hot mega-secret love scandal, reliable sources say that Juan Carita had been getting close with the mysterious yet beautiful manager to the stars, Miss AA. Now, we also have become suspicious yesterday that Oldbag was the one who found Lotta Hart's camera. And that is because Lotta Hart lost her camera, but had written a tabloid article about the victim and the affair the victim was having with Miss Adrian Andrews right over here. So, the reason that she had more suspicion of this relationship between them was that this already written tabloid article, she didn't know it was, like, not actually a real article. She found it in this camera case and just assumed it was real. We don't have proof that she found Lotta's camera just yet, but because of our investigation yesterday and the things she said, it is the only natural assumption we can make that she found Lotta's camera. We need to find a connection somehow that proves all that.
Well, since I was on the job, I made sure to keep a good eye out the whole time.
Oh? Then would you tell us the number of people who went in and out of Mr. Carita's room?
I have no idea. I wasn't born so I could count those things. I couldn't think so I could count things for those who didn't pay attention in class. That's why ever since I turned 20, I quit keeping track of how old I really am.
Yes, well, that would explain why your age was not recorded in the report.
In any case, the witness then saw someone, correct?
That's when someone showed up. It was a man coming out of poor Juan's room.
Who in the world was that?
I'm not allowed to say. This sort of information has to be carefully guarded from the masses, Sonny. The man that came out of Juan's room, he was.
Yes, he was.
I'm too scared. I can't say his name out loud.
What would I wouldn't give to have Franziska's whip right about now?
Well, I guess I can tell you. He was such a bad boy anyway. It was on guard. Matt on guard. He was trying to sneak his way out of Juan's room.
You saw my client? Are you sure about that?
Yes, see.
Really?
Annoying brats, when I say I saw someone, I saw that person.
But I get a sense of deja vu. Maybe to avoid a mess like last year, I should delve into this a bit further. Tell me about the person's clothes. Please tell the court about the man's clothes in more detail.
What a troublesome man you are, really. As if something like that matters.
But it does.
Now what was it? Oh yes, it was that thing.
What thing?
That gaudy thing he's always wearing, that racing jacket.
He's wearing that at the detention center too.
That thing's meant for nothing but seducing women out of their pantaloons. Men.
Right.
So, Mr. Wright, was this testimony just now important or relevant in any way?
Yeah, it was important because okay, so here's the reason this was important, guys. This press conference ticket right here seems the Nickel Samurai is to confess something after the post-ceremony stage show. So right after the ceremony, there's no reason he wouldn't be in his Nickel Samurai suit. There's absolutely no reason for him to be in his nickel samurai suit at this point. So there is a very important reason that the outfit mattered. Of course it was important, Your Honor. Then perhaps you would like to point out what part of the testimony was important, Phoenix. Don't you see it, Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request what the witness said about the jacket to be appended to her testimony.
I don't quite see where you're going with this. But all right. Witness, please.
Well, I don't like to badmouth anyone without reason, but if I must. He was wearing his flashy racing jacket. Honestly, it's all just for show.
Okay, we're gonna have to present something on here. Do we have anything that we could present this press conference ticket? We could potentially present this costume to show what his outfit looks like. That's his hakama, right? The blue thing? Wait a minute. Hold on. Was ripped from his costume, is covered in Kurita's blood, found in Unguard's hakama. He had to be in his steel samurai outfit, nickel samurai outfit during the murder. So if he was wearing the jacket, there's no way he could be the murderer. Objection, Oldbag! Miss Oldbag.
What? Don't say my name for no reason.
Do you know what this is?
It's button number 2 on the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
Now I know she's an obsessed fan. She identified it in a single glance.
Give it here. If you don't give it to me, I will punish you with this.
She's a security guard. Why does she have that weird... I don't get it. I don't care. Wow, she really is a die-hard fan to want a button covered in blood. This button was discovered on Mr. Unguard's body during a full-body search.
See? This button proves beyond a shadow of a doubt there was that rascal on guard.
It was caught up in the pleats of his nickel samurai hakama pants.
See? And on guard is the nickel samurai.
Witness. Now, it may just be me, and I do have an active imagination, but just now, didn't you say the defendant, Matt Unguard, was wearing his usual racing jacket?
I am so sorry. Sorry that you judge people based on what they wear. If I wore the trendiest dress, maybe you'd give me an eye or two. But instead, you have to go focusing on that hideous outfit. It's heavy, so heavy. I wish we would have switched to CDs ages ago.
I can't even keep up with this, man. I can't even keep up with this. He's ridiculous. There we go.
Now hold your tongue still there for 1 second. So what you saw in actuality was not Mr. Unguard the man, but Mr. Unguard, the nickel samurai?
But when you think about it, they're really one and the same anyway.
Nuh-uh, Miss Oldbag. This is a very important point we're talking about.
Oh, Edgy Poo, do you think so too?
Well, it might be something worth thinking about. Just say it's important and we can agree for a change.
Witness, think carefully and try to remember as much as you can before you testify.
Okay, if you insist.
I should be the one sighing.
On guard. Yes, now I remember. The nickel samurai, that's right. It was the nickel samurai that I saw. Oh, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go to that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know? So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan.
She's just lying now. Knew it. I knew you'd say he was inside that costume.
What? Did you think there could have been someone else inside that costume? Don't be a bad little boy thinking such rude things.
But the possibility does exist.
Youngins today. I told you there was no way it was anyone else.
How do you know that?
Because I said so. And what I say is the truth.
At least she's just as delightful a witness as she was last year.
Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine this witness.
Who I saw. Now I remember. I don't need to press that statement. The nickel samurai.
That's right. It was the nickel samurai that I saw.
Be a little more careful with your testimony, please. Not too long ago, you said he was wearing his racing jacket, and now he's not?
Not too long ago? Then let me ask you this. When you were itty-bitty, what was your grand dream?
Huh?
What did you want to be when you grew up, whippersnapper?
My dream, huh? Well, I, wanted to be a Judge Wagner, hero of the public's court. So what?
See? And look where you are now. You're not Judge Wagner, are you? Are you?
Wow, rude.
What I said earlier. Who puts any weight into things like that? The now is everything. I can't be held responsible for the past.
This is so dumb. Since when did court become theatrics over testimonies?
All that matters is that man was inside the costume. Isn't that enough? Yes, it would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder.
And why would that be?
That way, no one can see his face, of course.
But there's still no advantage for him that I can see. In fact, you would think the costume would make him stand out more.
You are such an annoying child, you know that? You disgrace! You disagree with everything that I say.
Isn't that what you're always doing to me?
I got it! Maybe it was more troublesome for him to change in and out of his costume. He had to go through that post-ceremony stage show after the crime, you know.
Was there anyone else scheduled to appear at the post-ceremony show?
Well, all the contestants were supposed to go on stage in a friendly gesture thing.
And that included the Jammin' Ninja?
Of course it included him. That's why when Ungard came out of Dear Juan's room, I didn't give it a second thought.
I see.
Well, anyway... So he must have worn that nickel samurai costume while stabbing poor Juan.
Let's press. So let me ask you one last thing then. The person you saw, it was really the Nickel Samurai?
As showy as ever. Hadn't I been saying that from the very beginning?
Can I throw in the towel yet? You don't need to think too hard on this one. There's a contradiction in her testimony, and it's sitting in plain sight. The question is what that contradiction means for us. I have to figure out what you're talking about first, but okay. Okay, the contradiction is him wearing the costume. It has to be, right? That's the big fact with this testimony. Huh. Okay. Suicide reports aren't helpful yet. Time of death, strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. He has a scarf, so that makes sense. Okay. That's what he would have looked like going into the crime. The camera isn't relevant yet. The article isn't relevant yet. The hotel guide map doesn't do anything for us. Juan's autopsy report doesn't help. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Bears the victim's blood and Ungard's fingerprints. In the grip, Gatewater is engraved.
Ungard. Yes, now I remember. The Nickel Samurai, that's it. It was the Nickel Samurai that I saw. It would have been convenient for him to wear his costume during the murder. He had to go through that post-ceremony stage show right after the crime, you know? So he must have worn that Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing poor Juan. When he was stabbing poor Juan. If he was wearing the Nickel Samurai costume when he was stabbing Juan, then fingerprints wouldn't make sense. Fingerprints being on it wouldn't make sense, right? Because the knife is covered in fingerprints, but the suit quite obviously has gloves. Has one big gauntlet arm. And his left arm has a glove on it.
but he ate with the knife. Yeah, that's why his fingerprints would be on it. That's already the assumption with the knife. But I think this might be able to give us some leeway for now. Yes! Please take a look at this, Miss Oldbag.
Yeah, so it's a knife. Big deal. You're trying to scare me with that. I'll have you know it won't work.
No, that's not my intention at all.
That's the knife that was used in the murder, correct?
Your Honor, do you know why this piece of evidence is important to the case?
You don't even have to ask. It's because the defendant's fingerprints are on it.
That's what you're driving at? That's exactly what I'm driving at.
What are we driving at? And whose car are we driving?
If Mr. Ungard was really in the nickel samurai costume at the time of the murder, then it's impossible for his fingerprints to have been left on this knife. Actually, he would have wiped all previous fingerprints on the knife right off. I didn't even think about that part.
Oh, that's right. The nickel samurai wears gloves, doesn't he?
He probably took his gloves off before he began the stabbing. And why would he do something like that? To leave his prints on the murder weapon? There is no way he would do something like that. However, there is one possibility. Then let's hear your possibility. It's very simple. The defendant went to the victim's room while in costume as the nickel samurai. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. He was probably just going to relax and talk with the victim about the stage show, which is why he took his gloves off.
But the murder still did take place.
It's well known that the defendant and the victim had bad blood between them.
Yes, I have heard of that. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about Mr. Edgeworth's theory?
So let me get this straight. Edgeworth's theory goes like this. When the defendant went to the victim's room, he had no intention of killing him. Now, up to this point, are there any problems with this theory? Well, yeah. Yeah, there's a big contradiction in this theory because the knife was brought. Edgeworth has already tried to establish premeditation with the murder by the fact that the knife came from frickin' dude's room. On guard's room. There's a contradiction. This theory contradicts something in an earlier testimony, though. What are you babbling about? Now, for argument's sake, let's suppose Mr. Ungard was the killer. If that's the case, I think it's impossible for the killer to have gone to the victim's room without intent. The knife. Yeah, it has to be the knife. This knife. This was used by Mr. Ungard at dinner.
Yes, we did establish that.
Which means that if my client was, in fact, the killer, then he brought this knife with him when he went to visit Mr. Kurita. Suppose. However, you just said it yourself. At that time, the defendant held no intent to murder. If that were true, then why would he bring a knife? He wouldn't, would he? Which means, Mr. Edgeworth, your theory was flawed from supposition 1. And one more thing. If the murderer was wearing the costume at the time of the murder, then there should be glove marks left on the knife. Which means the defendant's fingerprints shouldn't have been all over it like a bee's on a hive. I feel like we're digging ourselves into a hole right now. And that brings me to my final point. This knife was planted by the real killer to hide their identity and mislead us.
Order! Order in my courtroom, I say! Was this knife really planted by the killer? Why would the murderer do such a thing?
To frame Matt Ungard or to hide the murder method? Probably to frame Matt Ungard. That makes more sense. It's to frame my client, Matt Ungard, of course.
To frame?
Aren't you forcing this interpretation just a little too hard on this one? But we just established the witness saw the nickel samurai in costume. And if that were true, then there shouldn't be a single fingerprint on this knife. Ugh. Witness.
Looks like I've made your life a teeny bit more difficult. Huh, Edgy?
Witness.
Did you or did you not really see the nickel samurai?
Well, I guess at first I might have forgotten, but...
Are you saying you mixed up Mr. Ungard with the nickel samurai, his character on TV?
But I mean, I can't really do anything about that. Look, I was waiting around in front of their doors because, well, I wasn't waiting around for the Nickel Samurai, that's for sure.
She wasn't waiting for the Nickel Samurai? Alright then, who were you waiting around for?
That's top secret to anyone outside of security.
I have a feeling that you were waiting for Mr. Juan Corrida. Am I correct, witness?
The way you think, you're a sad amateur with a terrible case of nearsightedness.
Amateur? Me? What am I an amateur?
So Oldbag was waiting around in front of the victim's room, but it doesn't sound like she was waiting to catch a glimpse of Mr. Corrida. Maybe, Phoenix. Maybe the Oldbag was waiting around for that person. That's who I think Mia's hinting at. It's certainly possible. Miss Oldbag, you were waiting for this person to come out of the victim's room, weren't you? I think this is it. Because, as the tabloid said, AA, she's a big fan of Juan Corrida. He has a scandal going on, and she potentially found Lotta Hart's camera, which had the extra scoop saying it was, like, official. So, if anything, she wanted to confirm it with her own eyes. That's what she would have been outside waiting for. Adrian Andrews.
Who is this person?
This is Adrian Andrews, Mr. Unguard's manager.
But why would the defendant's manager be in the victim's room?
It seems that this is the latest rumor in circulation, Your Honor.
Oh. This is... Oh, I see.
The judge seems to be really into the article. Can it be called such a thing?
Then the manager with the initials AA. Are you saying it's...
Adrian Andrews. Without a doubt, the witness thought so as well.
Looks like you found me out. Well, that's fine. I can throw away this whole sworn to confidentiality stuff.
Witness, what in the world are you...
Watch out, Phoenix. I got a bad feeling about this. Really bad feeling.
I've got some information. Some very secret information from a certain source. So that's why I was doing my own little investigation. In secret, of course.
What for?
Oh, just for myself. Personal reasons and all that.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, how will you proceed from here?
I really don't want to do this. However, I cannot simply let this point slide.
I see. Very well then, witness. Please testify about this secret information.
Whoa, get ready, buckos! This is gonna take the wind out of you youngins.
Sure, we're all capable of handling this. Really, it's not like we're 10 years old. Alright. Secret information.
That Ungard is one evil, evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret, you got that? Nobody else but me and you can know, okay?
The defendant sent his manager? What a distasteful topic for the court.
What? Nobody's above gossip. And isn't there a saying, the truth is never pleasant?
I've heard that one before.
Mr. Edgeworth, what about this Adrian Andrews person?
We've looked into the matter and found that the truth of the article proposes is, in fact, baseless gossip.
But should this be true, then this proves that the defendant did bear ill will towards the victim.
This means I have to smash this rumor once and for all.
Now then, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Be careful.
Be careful. The Oldbag seems rather excited now.
That's right. Ungard is nothing but your average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, gotta burn some old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Games dialogue. Secret information.
That Ungard is one evil, evil man.
I need to press on that.
He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal.
Press on this. A scandal? What do you mean by that?
You're a dim-witted one, aren't you? I can't believe you don't know what a scandal is. Honestly, what are they teaching kids in middle school these days?
No. I wasn't asking what the word scandal means. Even I know that.
Well, That unguard thought he could own a monopoly on popularity. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get close with Juan.
You don't have any proof that Mr. Unguard did such a thing.
You must be suffering from shock. The shock of hearing the truth. And now since you're in so much shock, you can't do anything right.
Well, you're right. I can't do anything, but boy, do I wish I could do something about you.
All right then, Sonny, show me what you've got. Can you show me proof that Unguard didn't bear any ill will towards Juan?
Do I have any proof of that? Nickel Samurai, no. Press conference, no. Radio transceiver, no. The camera, no. Magazine clipping, no. Hotel guide map, no. The guitar case, no. Wine glass, no. Crime photo, no. Suicide report and attempted suicide report. These relate to Celeste, Juan, and Adrian, but not Unguard. And then strangle with a scarf, autopsy report, no. The knife, no. Yeah, I don't think we have any actual proof here. I'm going to decline here. I want to press more on the other statements before we go any further. I don't have anything to offer.
See, just as I thought. And you were lecturing me without saying things without proof. You've just given me a free pass to say whatever I want, silly boy.
Me and my big mouth.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. For you, anyway. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action.
What did you do? So what do you mean by I took action?
Like I already told you, I was lying in wait, close to the crime scene. Once that slimy woman came out of Juan's room, I was going to capture her. Teach her a good lesson. Something you youngins need.
You were going to teach her a good lesson.
I was going to make her eat the damaging beams of my ray gun. Like this.
No, stop!
Well, it's too bad that woman didn't come through the door that night. Oh, and this is top secret. Got that? Nobody else but me and you know yet, okay?
Wait a minute.
What? I'm a busy woman. Tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It's secret. Even if you drill a hole in my brain, you'll never find out.
How in the world did that Oldbag get such a secret piece of information? Okay. Now the camera's coming in. I've suspected she's had the camera from the start, dude. I've suspected she's had the... This camera from the start. And it had the tabloid article in there that was pre-written with lies. So it could have anything, such as the idea of Matt Unguard staging the whole relationship. I'm gonna present it. Or should I press? I'm gonna press further for now. If you don't be a good girl and tell me where you got this secret information, you won't get to go home today.
Edgy boy, what are you doing? Help me.
Huh? What do I have to do with this?
Just do this for me. You'll get your reward.
I don't want your reward, but you don't leave me much of a choice. The witness could have gotten her information from anywhere. It's even possible that it was spontaneously made up inside the witness's head. And he lectures me on reckless blabbering?
As long as we don't know where this information came from, it's quite a waste of time to focus on the line of questioning.
Where did Oldbag get her inside information? There has to be something I can use to figure it out. Sounds like just another tidbit of gossip, doesn't it? But you can't just ignore it either. Makes your client look bad either way. Well, I don't think I heard anything really out of the ordinary just now. There has to be something we can catch her on. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go present the camera. Top secret. Okay, so press and then present.
Wait. What? I'm an old busy woman. Yabba 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 yabba.
All right. Present evidence. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag?
What? Why are you looking at me like that? Stop it!
Witness. I'm sad to say it, but this is how you found the secret, isn't it? The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart.
Oh yeah, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing?
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless?
That's it! That's the note!
Ah! No. You see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy!
Then you're the one who took Miss Hart's note?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Juan, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper, she's working with that evil Ungard. She said so herself. Ungard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine.
Well, it's only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? No, pile more pressure on. This is my only option. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is that correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible lonely trash can, that's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that note is the only thing you stole that night. Yeah, tabloid article about the victim was in the case of the camera. It has to be the camera. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it?
A camera?
Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweet $1,600 camera disappeared on me."
What? Why? Witness!
What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera, too.
Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
Wow, she literally just admitted to stealing in the middle of court. Terrible.
That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow is a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
Bailiff, check the camera's photos and hurry up! We must examine them at once.
Yo, new info, no info.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There is only one photo that seems to be relevant to the case.
Please present it to the court. This is the Nickel Samurai.
See, I told you that's the guy I saw.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Lotta's photo was added to the court record. I gotta investigate it more in depth.
What does it all mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I want to investigate the photo first. Hold on. Picture taken in the hallway right after the murder. Touch the check button for details. Okay. We have... I don't know. I can't see very well here. Walking out of Juan Corrida's room. Wearing a glove. Definitely wearing a glove. That's about all I can pick up from this so far.
What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ungard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is...
the defendant.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I'd put Maya's life in jeopardy. Can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's nothing strange with it, something strange with it. What is or isn't strange with it? Is there something strange with it? Let's compare it to the standard nickel samurai costume. Okay, your standard waves, weapon, long hair thing, mask, nickel glove. Picture taken in the hallway right after the murder. Touch the check button for details. I don't know. You guys think the flowers are from Matt Ungard's dressing room? I don't know. That's actually a good point. This could be a photo of him leaving his own dressing room, but I can't remember well enough what the hallway looked like. I gotta take another look at the other costume. Check the map. That's actually a good idea. Let's check the map. Ungard's room was right here. Corita's was right here. The Viola Hall is right here. So if the picture was taken from the far left of the screen, Ungard's room would be on the left, and Corita's would be on the right. So this matches up according to the hallway map, assuming the door at the end of the hallway is the Viola Hall. But I'm pretty sure it is because the other direction had bathrooms, and I don't see any bathrooms in that direction. So I think the door lines up. I don't think the door is our hint. Okay, so I feel like we got to think about this differently. We got to approach this a little differently than just looking for something wrong. Why would there be something wrong with the photo? If there was something wrong with the photo, what would it be? If there was something wrong with the photograph, what would it be? You can't really see his glove. Can't really see his glove in this photo. It's kind of hard to see the one on his right arm. His left arm definitely has a glove. But if there was something suspicious here, I don't see anything wrong with the door. I don't see the blood. Well, there's no blood on his costume, but I think that's fair considering doesn't look like there's much blood splatter on the Jammin' Ninja's costume. The biggest thing is that there's no weapon, but he wouldn't have the weapon because, well, actually, would he? I can't back out right now. I know I have to go in. Wait, hold on. Hold on a second. All right, I think I got it. Okay, so the whole premise right now, there is photographic evidence right now of the Steel Samurai. Very important. The Steel Samurai leaving Juan Corita's room. Those are facts. However, we don't know if the person in this costume is Matt Ungard. That's where we have to think about. Sorry, the Nickel Samurai, not the Steel Samurai. My bad. You can't see the gauntlet, but I don't think that's it. Look at how saggy the pants are. That's a little weird because in this photo of the Nickel Samurai, you can see his socks. The hakama fits well. We can't tell the height of the person in this costume, but it looks suspicious. All right, let's go in. There's something strange with it. We have to. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please, look at the photo one more time.
You really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo? Then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well... I have to find something with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this picture anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
Okay. It's gotta be the pants, man. That's the only thing I have. But, just to be safe. Yeah, make him out to be some sort of criminal. I'm just playing it safe, guys, okay? I'm just playing it safe. It's gotta be the feet, dude. It's gotta be the feet. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? Its ankles?
If you could see this person's ankle, that would be one thing. However, can't.
And? What does that mean?
The Nickel Samurai in this photo could not have been Mr. Matt Ungard.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate. With actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster, shall we? Please pay particular attention to this area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. Oh shit, I didn't even notice he was pulling it up. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside the costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. All right, I think I turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is it? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. It's true. Just letting the trial run itself as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only think that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? He's not taking any damage? No, man. Edgeworth isn't worried because Edgeworth's goal isn't to win every case anymore. His goal is justice. His goal is to work together with the defense attorney to deliberate and figure out who is the real criminal. He found himself this last year. That's what it's got to be.
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Ungard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I thought it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Ungard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Oh, who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focusing on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah. Why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person inside the photograph?
I gotta assume Adrian Andrews, man. Because think about it. It's not Oldbag. We know that for a fact. She wouldn't have a costume. It's not Matt. It's not Celeste. It's not Willpower. It's not Edgeworth. It's not either of my partners. It's not Franziska. It's not Juan Carita. It's not Lotta because she took the picture. It's not Gumshoe. And it has to be her. She's the only one.
Adrian Andrews?
If you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say it would be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? Well, for starters, she's short, and she can freely move in and out of Mr. Ungard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Ungard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife that was in Mr. Ungard that had Mr. Ungard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as the murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, Wright? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. The defense motions to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Carita. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
All right! This is it! This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day. Oh no! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya!
Now then, shall we set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow?
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court! I gotta raise an objection.
Now then.
Objection! Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass the verdict today.
I cannot do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not...
I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
And what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Andrews all along is happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? Nani?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man. Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly.
Very well. We will continue. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess.
To be continued. All right, first half of day one of the trial done. Hopefully we can finish. I mean, it wouldn't make sense. That'd be a short chapter if we finished it